Hi, my name is Lajoie.
And my name is Khalees,
Welcome to Power Your Story.
a podcast produced by high school students in Chicago with the support of After School Matters and the creative Impostor Studios.
Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the show.
Hello, my name is Frankie, and I'm here with my co-hosts Lajoie and Alex. In this episode, we'll discuss our self-journeys, healing from toxic relationships, and drama. You should stick around to hear about how we've grown from our situations, and maybe it could help you if you have or are currently going through the same things as us. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the show.
Let's start off with some personal experiences we've been through and how we grew from them.
So, a personal experience that I went through, I had a best friend, and like we got really close in 7th grade, and then 8th grade, like we were all good. And he was very toxic, and I was kind of like blinded, and I didn't notice that he was being toxic at all. But all my friends would say, like, oh, he's doing this and he's doing all of that and he's doing this. Like, don't you see, like, that's bad? You need to like find somebody else. And I didn't think it, I didn't want to lose the friendship that we had because it was like a really good friendship that we had. And so, like, freshman year, he had blocked me from seeing his like Instagram stories. And I thought it was so weird because like I thought my phone was glitching out or something. And my friends were going up to me and it was like, oh, did you see so and so's story and everything? And I was like, no. I didn't realize he blocked me, but then my friends were saying that he blocked me. So then I asked him and he was like, no, I didn't. And I just left it alone. But then like it just kind of like stuck with me. So I was like, I asked again and I was like, did you block me? And he was like, no, you're being crazy. Like, you're being insane. Da, 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 da. I kind of was like, you know what? I'm just going to cut him off. And I kind of did. But then I was feeling bad that I cut him off. So I was like, okay, I can't do that to him. I need to kind of like still keep in contact with him. But I didn't. I ended up not doing so. And later when I would like ask for like an apology back from him, the apology just seemed not enough, or like it just seemed forced, and it still makes me upset, and I'm still holding the grudge because he keeps asking like, oh, can we be friends again? And I'm like, no, because you don't understand kind of like the pain you put me through even when we were fighting and everything, and you just think it's literally my fault, or like you think you have nothing to do with it, because there would be times where we were get into arguments and it would be his fault. I would be the one to send like a thick paragraph apologizing because I thought it was my fault. I don't think he saw how like hurt I was until like it was too late. And I don't think I can see myself being friends with him like now. If earlier, like 8th grade me, if this happened, I would have like immediately ran back to him. But like I didn't, and I'm very, very proud of myself for not anymore. And yeah, that's my story.
Yeah. My question is, how did you, I guess, heal from that? How did you grow from that situation? Like, how did you tell yourself, like, I can't go back to this guy? Like, how did you do that?
I think what I did was that I just like started slowly just, what's the word I'm looking for? Like distancing. I started slowly distancing myself from him just so it can make the void, I guess, of him not being around feel better. And then kind of when we stopped talking altogether, I tried like not thinking about him, if you know what I mean. Like I tried like not, because if you just, I don't know how to like put it. But yeah, I just tried like not to like mention him a lot if I'm talking to my friends about him, because I feel like that would have just made it even worse and heartbreaking in a way of me losing a friend. But then I also just started to like think of reasons why I shouldn't go back to him, because if I just thought about the good times, then that would just like make it so I should. But if I thought about bad times, that just made it easier to be like, that's why you aren't friends with him right now to this day.
That's good.
For me, I had like a friend kind of like that, and me and him don't talk now because I used to be a people pleaser, a bad people pleaser. But then once I realized he was toxic and draining, I cut it off very quickly and blocked him on everything.
And like that's the thing, also a part of me, like I don't have him blocked per se, but like I did delete his number. We still follow each other on TikTok. But like my friends are like, oh, why don't you just block them? Why don't you just block them? And it's like, I'm not the type of person to block somebody. Like I will delete your number and everything and unfollow you, but like to block you, that's like a whole different level. Like you have to do something that bad for me to block you. So that's it for my story. Now we can transition it on to Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. Mine is about being aware of things because I have always lived on the south side of Chicago, and anyone who's from the south side know some parts is very skeptical and dangerous. I take the bus to school, so one time I was at the bus stop sitting down, one headphone was in, one was out, and I was just casually waiting for the bus. Another girl I go to school with stood next to me, but I was in the glass part, so we were like a feet away from each other. This random guy walked up to me and was trying to talk to me. Didn't know who he was, but he started asking me how old I was, what grade I was in, if I could ditch school, this, that, and the third. So I'm like, no, something ain't right. So then I'm texting my mama all these questions he asked, and so then she tried to call me and was gonna curse him out, but I didn't want to deal with that because I've seen him before. So I got up from where I was and stood next to the girl I go to school with. And then he walked off, and I didn't see him anymore after that. But that just made me realize, like, I need to be even more aware because you wouldn't think you would get bothered at a bus stop, especially trying to get to school because they think you're older than you are. But then when they find out you're not, they be trying to be perverts.
I have a comment. I swear. I feel like I don't know what is up with like people going up to you and be like, "Oh, you cute." Like, "Oh, what's your number?" Da 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 da. When you don't even know me and like don't even know how old I am, first of all, cuz like it's just like weird cuz I have like bad social anxiety sometimes when it comes to those things, and like just having that happen, it's just so unsettling and so uncomfortable.
Yep, especially for me because I got to see his face, but I wasn't able to record. But from the looks of it, he looked like he was in his 50s or 60s asking me all these questions. So that's what made it 10 times worse.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to me. Like, I don't get how people have like the confidence to do that. But I want to ask Alex, like, how did that affect you mentally? And if it did affect you, like, also, how did you grow from that? Because there's probably people out there that have been through the same thing that you went through, and they still haven't grew from that.
Well, for me, I realized to be more safe than wait till it's too late. So my mom bought me a self-defense keychain that I carry with me. And if it's in my book bag before I get to school, I have to go through a like detector, but if they see it in the book bag, they ain't gonna really know what it is, so it just goes through. But then also my mom has her license to bear arms. Obviously, I can't get to it, but I know that she has it because her license is somewhere in this house. So that's also how we protected ourselves. And then my friends were making me second guess it, like, oh, what if he saw you walk home? What if he this, that, and the third? And I'm like, even if he did, he doesn't know what floor I live on. Because I kept looking behind me to see if anyone was behind me, and no one was ever behind me. So even if he did see what building I went to, he doesn't know where I live. So it's like I haven't seen him since that incident. But yeah, my friends were making me second guess things. They were talking about I was gonna be in like an episode of SVU or Criminal Minds. They were creeping me out. Now the final story is my friend Lajoie.
Okay, so my story is that I was in a friendship with one of my best friends, and I met her in sixth grade, and we were really, really close. Like, everywhere we would go, if I went somewhere without her, like, one of the teachers would ask, like, oh, like, where's your best friend and stuff. And we were that close because we went through a bunch of drama together during middle school. But eventually, like in seventh grade, we drifted apart because she was making new friends in high school, and I didn't want to make friends with people that were in high school. So I just made different friends in our grade, and we were still close. Like, we were still friends, but we weren't that close like how we were before. So in eighth grade, it was the same thing, but some drama popped up between us. People were telling her that I was saying stuff to one of my other friends about her, and it wasn't true. So that caused us to stop hanging out with each other. In the moment, I was upset because I was losing one of my best friends, but it's okay because I made new friends and I moved on from it. But we basically ignored each other like the rest of the school year, And after 8th grade, she texted me and she was like, like she wanted to be my friend again. And the stuff that she did when we weren't friends, I didn't really want to be her friend again. I wanted to respect myself. So I told her, like, I can forgive you and stuff, but I don't think we can be friends, but we can be cordial. And she was cool with that. And she was just telling me her side of the story, what she was being told. She said that she let people cloud her judgment. And I understood that. And I feel like we both could have been friends if we understood each other's like story. And because like we were going through drama, but we both had different perspectives. And that's why my story relates to perception, because we both thought of things like in a different way.
I do have a question. Do you think that if this all happened when you guys like were really, really close, like middle school,
Mm-hmm.
do you guys think you would like bounce back as like quickly?
Yeah, I think we would have been friends still. I
Mhm.
think the reason why we like stopped being friends, honestly, is because we were already like distancing ourselves from each other. Like we were not
Mhm.
as close as we used to be. So I feel like maybe in 6th grade or 7th grade, we would have probably still been friends because we were very close. But in 8th grade, she had different friends and so did I. So like at that point, if we weren't friends, it didn't really matter to each other, I guess.
Yeah, I understand.
I've had the same experience before.
Yeah, I have kind of went through it with a friend, and it kind of sucks, especially when it is like a close friend and then you guys are like already distancing yourself, or like something happens and then a big fight happens and it's like, where do we like kind of stand after this? And it hurts, but I think one way of like just healing from it is just like knowing that like even though it sucks, it's still kind of like life, and like things like that are kind of bound to happen. But like if it's really like a true good friendship, even if you guys don't talk as much as normal, if you're able to bounce back and communicate like afterwards, then like that's how you know like the friendship could still be good, or like there still could be a chance and hope after something like that happening.
Yeah, I agree.
I had to repeat the 3rd grade, so mine was from the second round of 3rd grade until graduation of 8th grade. And we only started being friends because once we got like freshman year, she changed, I changed because we were no longer at the same school. But now, like I realized, like basically why we stopped being friends because I don't even remember was stupid. Now I'm friends with her again.
I would say if you're going through any type of situation, relationship, friendship, drama, whatever, if you think the person that you're experiencing trouble with is like you guys are not working out, I feel like distancing yourself or letting them know how you feel is like the best way to heal, because you just don't want to distance yourself randomly. You want to let them know like, hey, like what you're doing isn't okay, and you distance yourself from them, because I guess some people get attached with other people and it's hard to distance yourself, but I say distancing is the best because you're not worried about them and they're not worried about you.
I agree with Lajoie. Well, and then like also I feel that if you are gonna distance yourself, first kind of like communicate on how you're feeling, especially if there's like a draw in like the relationship. Communicate on how you feel first, because the other person could think that everything is okay and everything is fine, but then when you are distancing yourself without telling somebody and not communicating, the other person could think, why is this person distancing themselves from us? It's weird. And more drama could concur with that like relationship. And I also feel that you need to heal in your own way and heal on your own time, and not have any other person kind of be like, oh, you're not healing the right way. Like, oh, you need to do this better. You need to go out with us. You need to go, do all of this. And it's like, healing is a process, and especially depending on what your situation is, it still hurts. I'm still healing from a bunch of trauma and things that have happened. Trauma is a strong word, but like a bunch of things that have happened. And you just gotta find a way, like a healthy way for you to just like kind of balance your life and not like feel sad or depressed or like spiral into like feeling sad that you've lost something, I guess, or like if you've kind of lost a connection with somebody, you just need to like, pick up little small hobbies. Like for me, I chose reading as a hobby to like pick myself up from it. So just finding like little things and surrounding yourself with like people that genuinely makes you feel happy, or just going outside or whatever, I feel like that's more better in healing in your own time, I guess, than just doing what other people say.
I agree with Frankie, especially when she was talking about how people like to comment on how other people heal. If you're healing, don't let anyone try to tell you like you're not healing right. Because when I told my best friend I didn't want to be her friend anymore, there were people that were telling me like, you're like so dumb for doing that. It wasn't even that big of a deal and stuff like that. And I thought like I thought they were true. Like, oh, I should take her back as a friend. Like, what she did wasn't really that big, but it was, and it was my way of healing. So don't let someone else tell you how to heal, because, like I said, you're your own person. Like, don't let nobody tell you what to do.
Well, that is it for today's podcast. I want to thank my co-hosts Lajoie and Alex for joining us today. I am Frankie, and thank you so much.
Power Your Story podcast is produced by Chicago high school students with production support from After School Matters and Creative Impostor Studios. Thanks to Miracle for graphic design and Sam for social media this season.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Power Your Story Podcast, and visit our website at poweryourstorypodcast.com. Thank you for listening.